Jesus.
Okay.
Well, at least we know.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, so the self-titled Fly Lord wearing his sunglasses inside has joined us for the podcast. And
we're recording right now. I love you with all my heart. Remote is right here. Here's the remote.
Ray Charles.
I'm notorious for walking off with the remote.
I said that we were going to start recording,
Hey,
and now he's acting like he didn't even know we were going to do this.
He's a special fella.
She is a very special lady, so I've got to say that.
Okay, can you act like you are aware that we are recording a podcast now? Okay. Yeah, like I mean, just the slightest amount of self-awareness would be great.
Acting normal in 3, 2, and 1. Go.
And go. Okay. Yeah. So welcome to the Zoom podcasting, which is, by the way, records really well, makes video of all three of us. It's a good thing we went and spent all that money on the other stuff. But
yeah, no question.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
so
does the audio transfer over to Spotify?
Are you seriously asking me that right now?
Yeah, I haven't listened to myself not talk in like the last 2 episodes.
If there was no way for me to get the audio that we're recording right now to Spotify, why do you think that we'd be doing this?
Well, this is true.
Like, I know that supposedly there are no stupid questions, but some questions just don't need to be asked.
Some do.
There are no stupid questions, only stupid people asking questions.
This is true.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's get in. We're into podcasting. So, it's Jeff here and joined by Kenneth and Clay. Clay is at least with us enough to think that maybe we're recording a podcast.
He decided to dress up for this podcast like the blind sheik that was the mastermind of 9/11. Got his sunglasses on.
Yeah, so before I hit record, I was asking Clay why he had his sunglasses on inside. And Kenneth, I don't know if you picked up on this, but a big part of the reason was that because one, he likes to look at himself in the camera. And so this leads to the fact that he can see himself and he still thinks that this is an acceptable way.
This is a good idea.
He's so proud of himself right now.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's right. I know, man. I have that.
Yeah.
I have that deal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, ladies. I'm taking.
What ladies do you think are watching this?
My wife just yells from the other room, "No, you're not."
Yeah, she would be happy at practice catch and release.
Man.
Do you like my fishing tie-in? Yeah.
20 years, longest one night stand ever.
Okay. All right. So here we are. It is Sunday before we depart on Thursday for our Beavers Bend trip. So we've been getting ready for that. I spent an immense amount of time yesterday getting to my camping equipment and then cleaning some of it and packing it all up so that I can load up and roll out on Thursday. And been watching the weather report. It keeps getting colder. I don't know if you guys have noticed that.
Yeah.
We went from lows in the 30s and highs in the 50s a few days ago to lows in the low 20s, and I think the warmest day is 40. So definitely gonna be.
I think the day we leave, it gets into the 50s.
Oh yeah, well when we leave, it's gonna be perfect.
It continuously gets colder the entire time. It's almost like the first trip we took. We're looking at it a week before, and it was fine. And then we get there and a surprise cold front comes through and we're buried under a half-inch ice the next morning.
It's going to be cold. There's no joking around about it. I was getting ready this week myself looking for some stuff, and I had a very upsetting revelation. I was able to locate my waders and I put them on. I was like, oh, well, apparently in the 2 years since I've strapped these things on, I've gotten a little fatter because pretty sure I could wear these. And then the first time I bent over, they would explode from every seam or Worse yet, if I happen to, I don't know, ingest a sandwich on the river or breathe deeply, I might not ever get them off.
Yeah, well, they probably just I've heard that waiters shrink if you leave them alone.
Well, it's like,
Probably that's what it is.
if you leave a bottle of wine open, it goes bad. It's the same way with waiters. If you don't,
Yeah, they
you
just-
don't put them on for a while, they just shrink right up. So
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, sometimes the clothes hanging in your closet will do that too. They'll just shrink right there on the hanger. It's weird.
yeah, no, I've more and more am encountering that problem with a lot of my different pieces of clothing. So
Yeah, no, it's a clothing flaw. I think you should contact the manufacturer and let them know. It'll be
all
like
that to
the
say,
time that,
I'm starving myself for the next 5 days so I can get into my weight.
It's like a boxer, and then it's gonna be, go all out the next 3 days.
Trying to make weight.
Oh, yeah.
right. Yeah. Well, it reminds me of high
But that
school and the
model-
wrestling team. The
That model,
guys spitting in a cup.
that weather model I sent you is coming a little bit closer to reality.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
tell you, I think that we'll find that there's a lot of participation issues if that comes to fruition and we're looking at lows in the single digits. People will start questioning their life decisions and go, do I really need to go do this 9-degree weather?
There's no bad weather. There's just bad clothing choices.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I say things like that all the time, and but it's not true.
9 degrees is damn
there's-
cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as the wind stays down, like here yesterday was miserable.
Howling.
Can you imagine if we'd been out? No, I would have gone into.
It's miserable cold. You can't fish.
Yeah,
It's just awful.
can't even stand outside. Yeah, but it looks like based on the latest one I've seen, the winds look like they'll be reasonable and the sun's going to come out, so shouldn't be too bad.
I
It
was
looks like
seeing
it's going to be
5 to
sunny
10.
and moderate winds, so hopefully
Yeah.
it turns out.
I was seeing 5 to 10 mile an hour. So
Yeah.
that's easy.
Yeah, that's just. I mean, it's Oklahoma. That's a calm day.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Everything's a little slower up there. I'm sorry. My bad.
I was actually talking about the wind, Clay. The
Well,
wind.
that's what
I
I
don't
was
know if you know
talking
about the
about, too.
plains. It's a windy area. Not
You know,
really
it's
sure.
Oklahoma where the wind comes rushing down the plains.
Down the plains. Yeah, it's known for. Anyway, I don't even know.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he lost something. He's doing nothing except sitting here talking to us, but he's somehow lost something.
No, I didn't lose anything. I'm plugging my lovely wife's phone into charge because we can't find any of the chargers in the house.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
that checks out. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we can have our cast your faith moment. Kenneth wasn't at church this morning, so he can't crib the sermon. And
Yeah, I can't tell you guys what happened.
And what's funny is I was sitting. Neither was Clay, by the way. But
Hey, I
I was
was
sitting
there
there-
in the parish hall.
yeah. Anyway, I'm sitting there listening to the sermon, and I'm like, okay, wait, we're recording later, and Kenneth isn't here. I got to figure out something from this sermon that I can grab onto. And then next thing I know, we're like flipping to books in the Old Testament, and it was, but
Oh, no.
I don't have a whole lot. No, we were it's Epiphany. We were the gospel reading for the day was when Jesus turns the water into wine. And I don't know if I have a great cast your faith moment for that, but all I could think of was Clay getting up last week at the lectern, just repeatedly talking about how we were going to have libations on the cast your faith trip. And we're little light on the gospel, but
Yeah. We don't talk about God at all, but if you want to
Yeah.
have a drink, we're going to have a drink.
right, yeah.
Hey man, I
But-
did
but
engage the
hold on.
crowd, right? Okay, I did engage the crowd.
But the gospel story about the water and the wine. There's two components that I was taking apart from that story. One is the story is that it's right before Jesus is about to start his ministry. He's kind of getting right into the beginning of it. And they go to this wedding and they run out of wine, and Mary, Jesus's mother, comes up and she's like, "Hey, they're out of wine. Do something." And his response is, you know, "Woman, this isn't, it's not my time. Why is this my problem?" And it was, and today, I've always sort of read this as sort of this like, "Woman, get off me. This is not my problem." But Father Michael brought up today that,
Sorry.
that he reads it as more of a, "Mom, this isn't my deal yet," and having a son, I understand that tone of voice so much more. It's more of a, I'm not ready to do a miracle yet. I'm just
Oh,
here,
not now.
but he does. He makes the good wine and all that. And then, so what all the Old Testament flipping we're doing was going back into some of the prophets about how when the kingdom of God arrives, there's all these references to the sweet wine is going to flow and all that. So, um, and so for especially the Jewish readers reading the story and hearing of this miracle and whatnot, they knew that, like, oh wait, these prophecies are coming. Here comes the sweet wine. And so the whole idea of, well, it's not quite time yet, but I guess I'll go ahead and get started, um, I think is a great thing when we talk about our cast your faith trips of, as Clay so eloquently gave us from the pulpit last week, that a little light on the gospel. And while I will continue to make fun of him for that until I move on to something else, uh, you know we go out on these trips and we talk to each other and we try to not be too light on the gospel, but maybe you don't feel like you're ready yet to make that commitment, and or you feel like maybe it's too big of a thing or it's too much for you. But the thing is, like, it's just start. Let's just do it, and do the best you can. And who knows, you might end up making hundreds of gallons of amazing wine. um, and God's there to help you do that. So uh yeah. uh
Can I say
yeah.
something?
Sure.
I love everything you said, and this is actually tied into that. So when I started Cast Your Faith, and everybody joined in, and everybody else helped it grow, and believed in it. And uh my idea behind Cast Your Faith is faith means believing in something. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in God, but let's say you believe in that Cinco worm you're throwing for smallies on Ivy because it's hot right now. You've got faith in something. You got faith in that Cinco. If you're throwing streamers and that's your favorite thing because you catch, hey man, you got faith there. You got faith in that streamer. If you play golf, here's a perfect example. If you play golf, and let's say you only like using Titleist, and somebody gives you Fat Max, then are you going to believe in yourself as much? Are you going to shoot as good as it? Are you going to shoot as well as you usually do using something else because of the faith that you have in what you're used to? And on that note, I'm not going to go any further because it's time to go back to Jeff.
Well, no, I mean, I was pretty much
the flawless formatics there with the chiming in and then the nice handoff back to Jeff. It did not feel like a jamming of the gears at all. It was very nice.
Yeah,
very smooth.
Yeah, smoothest one yet, maybe. No, I mean, that's pretty much what I had. That was my Cast Your Faith moment right there, which is, the bottom line is just start, right? Whether it be your faith journey or you get into fly fishing or anything else. I mean, the only way you're ever going to do something is to start it. I think that it's real easy to try to wait until everything's perfect, and it never happens, right? There's always you can always find an obstacle, and the biggest obstacle's in between your ears, right? You just got to start. So having casted our faith, we don't really
well done, by the way. Really
Thank you.
strong.
Thank you.
That was
I was
good.
feeling a lot of
Jeff,
pressure with
that
you
was
not
good.
being there.
You
yeah.
could tell the Holy Spirit was coursing through your body there, man.
Yeah, that's uh yeah, I don't know if we have too much formatics for right now. I mean, we're ready for, we got everybody, well, almost everybody that's going on the trip hopped on the Zoom after church. We talked about a few things. One didn't last very long, sort of a, we got the group gear. That's the thing, is if you come on one of our trips, you don't need a stove, you don't need a tarp. I don't know, you just need a tent, a sleeping
Almost for
bag,
the
and some
most part, you
clothes.
can
Yeah.
just show up. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah,
for the most
yeah.
part.
And I mean, honestly, if you didn't have a tent and a sleeping bag, you could tell me and we'd probably take care of it.
I like this so much better than the beach house.
I liked the beach house. I like both, right?
Right,
I think
right.
both are good. You might, I mean, depending on if that wind picks up and the wind starts howling, you might be missing that beach house when we're out
I'd be
there.
getting online, seeing if any of the cabins are open.
Yeah,
Oh, this
yeah,
is
we'll be
true.
knocking on doors. Yeah.
Well, look,
Those from the guys.
Clay said something earlier that we absolutely have to talk about. I
Oh
think it
yeah,
was
yeah.
pre-recording, but I gotta hear more about Nicholas's nail appointment.
Yeah, I do too. So this is Nicholas, your son, who is 7, right? Had a nail appointment.
Well, his mother had a nail appointment, and originally we had decided, or we had, the three of us, Jeff and Kenneth, had decided that we were going to, try to get together this afternoon. So Jill had got a very generous gift card to a nail place here in Lake Islands. And she took Nick so that Nick wouldn't be bobbing in and out and irritating Jeff. So
Irritates you more than he irritates me.
no, oh, totally. But I'm starting to kind of chill out on it. So anyway, she took him, and back in the day when she was going regularly pre-COVID and having to leave the house, she'd take him every once in a while, and he likes people waiting on him. Let's be honest here. The kid is great. He's funny. He's sweet. But for some reason, the kid loves to have a cucumber foot bath and his nails done because they don't hurt him like, quote, his mommy.
That's a blessed lifestyle.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
You will
I mean,
duct tape my
hopefully,
children to the bed to cut their nails.
well,
Not the Christian household. They go get it professionally done.
Yeah.
hopefully
I mean,
that means he's going to go into wealth management.
no, what it means is he's going to be sitting there calling you up going, Daddy, I need more money. I got to pay my nail guy and I need
Manny Petty time,
this.
Daddy.
Yeah. Where's my gift
No
card?
potty
Yeah.
here. Get potty pack here.
Okay, no. We don't need to do that. There's no reason for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't. I cannot imagine. Now, okay, this is cognitive dissonance, and I'm willing to admit it, but like I can't imagine paying someone to trim my son's fingernails. However, when we get off this, I am taking him up for a soccer training session with his private coach, though. So, because I think that if I play my cards right and he stays interested in this, and I go ahead and spend, $100,000 over the next 10 years, he might get an $8,000 scholarship. So,
Yeah. I mean, the return's obvious. You got to do it.
Oh,
yeah,
for sure.
so obvious.
The kid's got the footwork. I've seen this kid in the parish hall work this ball around the tables, around the chairs. I mean, just passing it back and forth between his own feet. And I'm like, man, dude, I couldn't do that if I was, 100% in shape. This kid and
I've
his
seen you struggle to
aggression-
walk around the tables in the
his aggression on the field, not like aggression, but the kid has no fear. everybody. I mean, the kid is a force to be reckoned with on the soccer field. I'm not going to say anybody almost should have gotten a red flag in a game, but I'm going to say a yellow card at like what was that, 8 or 9. That was pretty.
Eight or
That was
8 or
pretty
9.
impressive.
It's only the
I think
one.
it
so
is a
far.
real,
Yeah.
I think it's a real disservice to Campbell for you to be the barometer against which he's measured, because that's essentially like being
I was
measured against a
soccer coach.
quadriplegic, right? Everybody.
was
Well,
a
yeah,
soccer
that's true.
I
But
was
hey,
a
let's
soccer coach.
keep it. Hey, let's keep in mind that Clay is the one who is keeping detailed stats of
Stats.
first grade basketball. Yeah.
Oh God.
Where they still
The
have
kid.
where look, if the conversation involves the wristband is how you know who you're supposed to guard and stats, there's something wrong, right?
Oh,
And,
dude. The kid's got it right. He's got some teamwork essentials to work on, but as far as getting his arms up, getting in front of the ball, a little too aggressive trying to take the ball, and a little too aggressive if a teammate gets hurt by another, the opponent. However, the kid can play. There's just not all of the things there yet, and they're being developed.
well,
Yeah.
as we
I gotta
covered
say,
earlier,
I
he
gotta
is
say.
7 years old.
at 7, but hold on, at 7 in his first game, he got 8 rebounds and 10 rebounds and 8 assists. This
Did
last game, he got like 5 or 6 rebounds, and then
5 or 6? Come on, where's your stat
well,
book?
That
Well,
is
did
not
you guys-
an
did you
accurate
guys,
stat keeping.
I mean, come on. If
I
you're
had
gonna
to
sit
make a
there and
quick-
study tape the day after,
I had to make a quick supply run yesterday, and got to the game about 15 minutes late.
Generic claim. I had to make a
generic-
quick supply run.
Look, I don't know what he was doing, but I guarantee you that it is in some way shady. If he's, if he'd been going to the grocery store, he would have said he went to
He'd
the
have
grocery
said, yeah, I'm
store.
running the store.
Yeah.
Got to make a quick
There's
supply run. Does
Something,
not
a
sound
supply run.
PG-13,
Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah. No, there's.
We're
Well, Rhett's on
trying
a
to
different
be
level in his basketball career. He didn't get 5 or 6 rebounds, but he did get to keep his wristband that he was wearing during the game and bring that home. And he was excited about that. So
Yeah, that's a big
that's
deal.
good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I took Nick's off and pulled him out of the game yesterday, but other than that, yeah, he's just got
You
some
sat him
work.
down. Yeah.
I sat down next to him on the sidelines, and I was like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on here, man?" I was like, he told me, "Daddy, that ball hurt me," and I was like, "Okay." He was like, "And it was the boy that threw its fault," and I was like, "No, that's not how you play the game." I was like, it's nobody's fault. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get elbowed. You're gonna get, checked. You got to keep your cool.
But the
I was
part that
like-
he's not telling us, Kenneth, is and if I see you loaf like that again, you're running lines as soon as we get home. Yeah, that's
And so it happened again. He got a little loud, and I just went over and I was like, "Hey, buddy, this isn't a productive session." I was like, "We need a roll." So it was in the 4th period, but the kid's great. We've just got some COVID. I mean, during COVID, 5 to 6 years old. Not a whole lot of getting to play with people his age. So he thinks he's a 35-year-old fly fishing guide because all you degenerates that have hung around him. So
I mean, there is definitely something to that. There's you hear the news articles and see things about these kids with it, and it's a tough age to all of a sudden
is.
have your whole peer structure go away, and you might turn into a degenerate fly fishing guide.
he is. He's already
Or
shooting
worse.
high.
Yeah, or worse yet, just a degenerate avid fly fisherman who is,
Not monetizing this in any way, shape,
Yeah.
or
No,
form.
no,
Spending
just
money.
No,
hemorrhaging money,
I mean,
alienating from family and friends. Yeah, just
well, he's going to end up working at hashtag Orvis Dallas, and he might. He
Did
asked
you
me the
just
other day.
throw out a
He did.
verbal hashtag?
he did. He threw out a
Yeah, I
verbal
did.
hashtag. I don't.
Is that a real thing? Does that work?
It is now.
I
'Cause
think you're
I
supposed to
did
do this too. You're supposed to give it
it.
the hand signal. Yeah.
Hashtag
Yeah.
me too.
Right. Uh,
And you are still
So-
employed at Orvis Dallas, Clay?
I am doing a part-time gig in the fishing section at Orvis Dallas, and I got to give a big shout out to Frank Smitham. He's doing a great job running it. He's doing a great job planning around the people that have come down with COVID throughout the Christmas season. And I tell you, right there at the beginning of the year, about through the 3rd through the 14th, it was skeleton shift. And we apologize to any customers out there that may have experienced any delay in their service, but pretty cool. I enjoy it. I get to talk about fishing for 3-4 hours in a row. The coolest experience I've had there was this kid that was 12 years old came in with his mom, and his mom said, hey, he's been asking me about fly fishing. And I told him I'd bring him up here and maybe Santa Claus could hook him up. And I was like, okay, she might not have said hook him up. So I sat there and I talked to him. I asked him where he fished, what he wanted to fish for. And the kid's mom came back the next day and said my name and, bought him a Clearwater 5-piece combo, and it came with the reel and leader. I mean, ready to fish right out of the box. And
You didn't sell him any tippet though, did you? Because you don't believe
no,
in tippet.
because
no, he doesn't believe in tippet. Doesn't know how to
No,
tie it
no.
on.
no,
Yeah.
you just buy leaders, dude. Just buy leaders. In the end of
So
the
funny. I don't
world,
remember the last time I tied a fly directly to my leader.
if it was the end of the world, you would find 500 packs of leaders inside of my bug out bag because I can't do the whole tippet thing. Just don't.
I don't understand why
I
not? Do
throw
you not
big,
understand?
nasty streamers, baby.
I don't
Yeah,
understand
but-
why you have a
it's-
name like Fly Lorder of the Republic and you
Right,
can't
and
tie
can't-
tippet.
Yeah, but
It's
even
not
with
that I
big,
can't,
but
I
okay, but
just don't
even with
want
a
to.
big, but even with a big streamer, see, here's my thing is, even with a little bit of salt or big streamers for bass and whatnot, I'll still tie on a section of tippet because if I snag that thing on a log or whatever, then I can break it off at the tippet and tie a new one on with instead of just chewing up leader all the way down. It's not even so much, and it's not even the $6 or whatever. It's next thing you know, you end up with this 4-foot section of what used to be a leader with a diameter of we're off the X scale now. It's this thick thing, and you're trying to, and it's probably fine for largemouth, but
Well, I mean, I
want to get my
primarily
fish
fish.
down.
I
Yeah,
primarily fish for big for predators, man. Here lately because of
trout's a
Larry.
predator, buddy.
Huh?
Trout's a
Trout.
predator.
That's why I just happened to send my buddy a text and I was like, hey man, the guy told me to bring these. Can you tell me what they look like? And the next thing you know, Larry had 20 bugs tied up for me. Pretty much 3 in every, or 2 in every size between like 16 and I guess 22 or 20. So he tied 16, 18, and 20 in each pattern for me. And calls me up, hey bud, I need you to swing by. Go over there. Dude's got a Jello shot, Jello shot container. It's got those flies in it, and I can't, that saved me a ton of money. Plus I get to fish my buddy's flies. So he means a lot to me. So I gave him my Renzetti vice.
Does he know that you don't tie his flies on to tippet?
Negative Ghost Rider.
Yeah, like the whole, I don't know, I'm trying to think because I fish 5X a lot, for bluegill, for trout. I landed that carp last week on 5X tippet. I haven't had a
Come on now.
fit. Yeah, dead serious. I had a
Come-
4X leader and added another 3 feet of 5X tippet for a 12-foot leader because I was trout fishing. Caught him on an 8-pound on a three weight rod, 5X tippet. It doesn't break. And if you get your rod tip up and you keep the rod bent, it won't break. If you let the fish take line, it won't break. Now, if you do like you do, which I've seen you do plenty of times, which is to freeze up like a statue and not let the fish take any line, then yeah, you'll probably break it off. But I don't think I've ever broken off. I've had them shake free, but I get my fly back. I can't remember a time I've had a fly in the fish's mouth. They broke off and took off.
That reminds me of the time.
Especially
you and I were
5X. I mean, it's
fishing.
not like it's 6 or 7. That stuff's,
That reminds me of the time that you and I were fishing down there at our spot and south of Ikea. And we're sitting there on that river and I popped that thing and it just that huge spot just swallowed that popper. And I'm like, fish on, fish on. It was the biggest spot. I knew it was a spot. And you're sitting there screaming, take it to the reel, take it to the reel, as you're walking across water with like a 2-pound bluegill.
I did. I had a big sunfish. I was just walking like a dog down the river. And Kenneth, you should have seen him. It was amazing. So what's really funny is that, I mean, look, it's a fishing story, but Clay will tell this story about, he took this line and he jumped and he did this. No,
he did.
Clay
He jumped 3 times.
He might have jumped, but here's the thing. Clay set that hook, clamped down on the fish line. And he's had, I mean, he must have had like, what do you have, like 20-pound test leader on there? Like, because he didn't give it anything. I don't know how it didn't rip out of his lip. He did. He just
because I had a 0X leader on. 0X nylon.
And I just watched him do it as I'm like, would you, let him go? You're going to lose him. Somehow he landed this fish. And then what's really funny is like 3 days later, I hear him telling somebody, he's like, oh yeah, he went to the reel and he ran this line out and everything. I'm like, none of that happened. Okay.
Yeah,
you tried to tell somebody you got it. No,
you got to make it a more interesting story.
Inch a line out. You told somebody the other day that he took you to your backing. Your backing hasn't seen the light of day since they spooled that thing.
He took me to the backing.
The way you played that
Chicago
fish, you
State
might
record.
have been on it. Oh, you should have just been on a Tenkara rod. You didn't even need a reel.
No, man. Like, don't you remember me jumping up on that rock, slipping, holding the rod, floating down the river?
No, that was a river runs
and I
through it.
landed.
And,
That's right. That was a movie I watched.
You idiots.
Oh
Man.
Bunch of
all right.
Muppets.
So
I've got to hear about squirrel. We got to do.
we ready? Are you ready?
This is the best, Kenneth. I don't know if you've heard the story. I'm not going to give it up, but we've got to cut in here and do a.
Well, you got to hit the theme. Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun.
We're ready.
Squirrel
Watch.
Center watch.
Center watch. Center. Okay. All right. So earlier this week, today is Sunday, so I guess technically earlier last week. But notice the tub in the master bath was draining a little bit slow, right? So I'm like, that's annoying. And so I grabbed the old wire coat hanger and ended up fishing up some hair out of there. So of course my blame goes to my lovely wife that this is all her fault.
No, as it should.
And yeah,
women are like Yetis.
Right. So I get this thing out. Well, I'm like, okay, I got this out. It should be fine now. Well, it starts getting worse. And I'm like, oh, there's a huge clump somewhere in there. So, like, I'm a handy guy and I've got a drain snake and I'm getting it, and I cannot get this. I can't get anywhere with this. I'm not pulling anything out. I'm hitting something. So can't get it through there. And for the one person listening to this that doesn't know me personally, but I work for a home builder. I've got a good connection of people. So I call one of my plumber buddies and I'm like, hey, I need some hints. I'm doing something wrong. And he goes, well, actually, the first thing he said was, aren't you high enough over in that outfit of yours that you can afford to hire a plumber? And I was like,
Give
I
the
can
company
do this. I don't need, and he's
Give the
like, well,
company's name. Tell them we need sponsors and charge them.
okay. So anyway, he's like, well, you could try this, try that. He's like, really, you're probably gonna end up on the roof and your snake isn't gonna do it. Big one. I'm like, all right. So I fuss with it a little bit more and finally I'm like, fine, call the plumber. So I call the plumbers out there. Now I'm at work. Camille happened to be home and I know they're here and they're been for a while. So I'm wondering how much this is gonna cost. And she calls me and she's like, they just pulled a rat out of our drain line. So let me see if I can, see, I've got this prepped. Let me see if I can share my screen here real quick.
What? A rat? Like a roof rat?
Oh no, this is like
Look at that.
nasty.
Can you see that?
It's like
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
Yes. So
Oh,
yeah,
no.
it was. So
It just
one,
looks
I
like
wasn't going to
Wookiee
snake
hair,
that
bro.
through the drain. Yeah, I mean, look at this thing. I mean, it
just
had to be
looks
what,
like a
2 feet
Wookiee
long?
hair.
2 feet long. Yeah, easy. So
Looks
yeah.
like my sinuses
That
back in the
was
90s.
wow, that was but yeah, that was in. So it looks like it had gotten up on the roof and gone down there. So now I've been lately hearing some what I had decided to believe were squirrels in the attic because I didn't want to believe they were rats, but yeah,
Dude,
so we
you've
had
got
the
the perfect shooting deck, man. You need to let me come over, bro.
it's
The
well,
unfinished
it's
treehouse as is
yeah,
is
yeah.
perfect for me.
Well,
I'm sighted in, bro.
yeah, we got the exterminator over yesterday, pest guy, and I got a great pest guy. If anybody needs a recommendation, he comes over, and we walk around the outside. And it's like, well, we should probably do this and that. And everything. The weather was terrible, so I was like, he was like, yeah, I'm not planning on sealing these up today. I was like, no problem, I'll come back. But he did get up there, set a bunch of traps, and so last night there was definitely some popping going on in the
Dude,
attic.
you heard
with
it?
the,
That's awesome.
yeah, I didn't hear you. Camille, did you hear one?
I heard one out here.
Camille heard one. I know Campbell heard at least one.
Hi, Camille.
So
Tell her
he'll be.
She
I'll
can't
tell her later.
tell her
Like,
I
it's
said
Well,
fine.
let me
No,
tell you,
it's fine.
when I was in
Yeah.
college, I lived in our fraternity house, which was the oldest house in Nacogdoches County with running water. And
Okay.
the summer I moved into it, it had been basically abandoned by the other people. Once school was out, it had just been sitting empty for a summer. And it was overrun with rats. It was infested with rats. The kind of rats that you set traps out, glue traps, pop traps, whatever. They were too big for the pop trap, and they were too tough for the glue trap because they just gnaw their leg off and go on about their life. Like, these were hardcore rats. So I had a buddy that lived there with me named Jimmy Booker, and Jimmy was. You ever saw any of the Police Academy movies and the character Tackleberry?
Yeah.
He looked like Tackleberry. He acted like Tackleberry. His dad was an Oklahoma highway patrolman. Booker was just a great guy, but very unique. And he and I had a few pops one afternoon and started talking over this rat problem. And he goes, well, I mean, we could get some rat shot and just hunt them. And I go, what? I don't need, at this point in my life, I was a little kid from Richardson, Texas. I had no idea what rat shot was. And he goes, oh yeah, we can load up my guns with rat shot and we can just shoot them. Okay, sounds good. So we proceeded over the course of the next 2 days to kill 15 rats using a variety of different firearms loaded with rat shot. The most, the high, and there's still a picture of this out there somewhere, but the pinnacle of that was Jimmy Booker shooting one with a 45 loaded with rat shot on the front porch. And that sucker was about 18 inches long before you got to the tail. And the tail, you know, I don't know, 6 feet. It was the most disgusting possum looking thing I've ever seen in my life.
He just pulled
Tell,
it. 500
imagine
yards,
telling your
5
parents
miles.
about how things are going at the fraternity house. Well, we're hunting rats, Mom. It's great. We're probably
Yeah.
all going to play. Super.
How many kegs did y'all go through a pop to get all those rats out?
We built a pyramid, and I know I've got a picture of that somewhere, but we had a coffee table in the living room that was about 3.5 feet by 3.5 feet square. And at that time in the summers, the Brookshires in Nacogdoches would sell 30 packs of beer for $9.99. And we would each go in, they'd only let you buy 3, and we'd go buy 3 at a time. And we would just sit there and drink Coors Light until we couldn't see straight. And then play with firearms. We were super
Right, yeah.
Uh,
We had we rarely had kegs. And the thing about college kids and kegs is that who has money for a keg?
Keg
I
is
can come up-
cheaper than cans.
No, keg is cheaper than cans per beer, right?
Right.
But it takes $80 to get a keg.
Kegs
Plus
are special
deposit.
occasion only.
So
Yeah.
if you're charging cover for cans, you can come out on
Nobody's
top.
wait. Well. Clay is showing us how little he only knows about college from like movies.
Movies, yeah.
There is
Van
no
Wilder.
there is no cover. There is no cans. If you want beer, you bring your own. I'm not
Dude.
giving anybody beer.
Okay, so we all know about my shady past. I used to charge $10 a piece to come in. You got a cup, you wrote your name on it, and you got to drink as much as you want that night. Now, we made enough to pay for, well, we didn't use charcuterie boards back then, but hey, Tex.
Amazon's here. He's protecting us all.
I know, but we made enough to make do and have enough to launder at the casino the next week. So
Yeah, I don't.
mean, we were
Kenneth,
good.
I think we were probably the same way as y'all. I mean, it was strictly BYOB. Like there was
Oh,
none
yeah.
of that. Yeah, no, we couldn't put. I mean, there was maybe 2 or 3 times a year that we would have some sort of big party and we might get a keg. But yeah, for just your run of the mill occasions, nobody's messing with that. And
We had-
it's just
we had 2 full-size bathtubs that you would find in a normal residential house full of beer and ice.
yeah.
Damn.
No, would never do that. No.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
It worked out. I mean,
I mean,
landlord never
okay.
found out.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you're here.
Right. This far. We had one time similar to your deal, but it was was it Thrifty? I'm trying to remember. There was the liquor store in Shreveport, and they got somehow case upon case of this. It was like Shiner Bock winter wheat or something. And this was last year's. Okay.
Right.
And they were selling it for, I think it was $4 a case. We bought all of it.
Why would
Every
you not?
last, what it was terrible. I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad that because people would come down. So we were a BYOB establishment, right? The fraternity house was, and guys would, but there'd always be, there's always that one guy that's coming out who's usually, he's not even a member. He's just like, hey, beer, There were people that would turn this stuff down. That's how bad it was. Now we wouldn't. We drank all of it. Like there was no, but it was so bad. We ended up something, and we bought it. We found out about the deal, and we bought it all, on the spot. I think we bought like 20 cases of this stuff, and normally, if we just put out 20 cases of beer, that would have been gone, right? It hung around for like a month. I mean,
Just can't offload it.
and then
Which
Which is
used to
amazing
do-
if you think about the audience, because college-age males generally just don't care about what they're drinking.
No, I mean, yeah. Then
Well,
my
It'd have to
other
be pretty bad for somebody to pass on it.
Oh,
my-
that is so true because when I was college age, I drank anything.
Clay,
But the
you
last
still drink anything?
no, I won't drink Miller Lite at all. However, back in the day, I would. So the last Lone Star Throwdown I came home, luckily meeting Adam Purcell with Western Suns Vodka. And also came home with like 3 cases of Miller Lite that was left over, and being on the cook team was beneficial, and but we cooked a good meal. Those 3 cases of Miller Lite sat in my garage refrigerator for like a year. And finally at Nick's party that Kenneth and Wilmer were at, Wilmer goes, "How long have you had these?" I was like, "I don't know." He was like, "Dude, the date's from last year." I was like, "Well, if you want them, take them." And he took them. That's
I was about to say, it
probably
didn't stop him from drinking them.
No.
That's
Yeah.
probably, he probably had some left, and that's why he burned his wife's Jeep up. But I mean,
It's I don't think you put it in the gas tank, but so that talking about that, just I'd forgotten all about this. So we had like a bar in the Marianas. It wasn't stocked with anything, generally speaking, but people would come up thinking that like they could get a drink from us. And so these guys would come up, and it was never a member, just some random guy would come in and he'd just be like, "Hey man, can I have a shot?" So a fraternity brother of mine, who is clearly a genius, as you're about to find out, was just sick of it. And so he went and got a bottle of vermouth, and he would give people a shot of vermouth. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen anyone take a shot of vermouth.
Mm.
It basically induces vomiting immediately. Like there's just no, I don't know if I ever saw someone take a shot of that and be okay. Like they might not immediately vomit, but it was most of them would, or spit it out, or and then we'd just be like, "Yeah, and now you can kindly leave." But
That's what we carry at this bar. Sorry.
right, yeah, like
That's
hey,
why I won't try a martini, is vermouth.
well, I don't know if you know how to make a martini, but it doesn't involve a shot of vermouth. So
No.
Actually, pour most of the vermouth out.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's what you swish it and then you pour it out. That's how you make a martini.
It's a liquor designed to be poured out. That tells you
Right?
everything.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it is designed to just sort of get it near the glass and then get rid of it. And yet for some reason it's an ingredient. But
I just hold it near the glass. Don't even pour it. Just
right.
near the glass.
Just, yeah.
My
My
preferred
son
martini
asked
is
this
extremely
morning,
dark.
My son asked this morning, "Well, Daddy, what's a flaming Dr. Pepper?" And I was like, "So you don't need to know about that," because he's gotten on this Dr. Pepper kick and loves Dr. Pepper like every good Texan child should. And he was searching it on Instagram or Google, whatever the kids using now, and up comes flaming Dr. Pepper, and he was like, Daddy, what's a flaming Dr. Pepper?" So I told him, I was like, "So, you go ahead and YouTube it." I was like, "Usually they prepare it this way, and then a dude puts some Everclear in his mouth and whoosh, blows it out of his mouth, catches the rail on fire, and then everybody, So Jill told me evidently that wasn't a good parenting choice. And he now knows about flaming Dr. Peppers. But he understands to, enjoy responsibly at 21 years and older.
Jeff, he is not going to let you just walk off with this thing in 2022. He is coming after you. for
Yeah.
sure.
No, he is. Yeah.
Is that your
I know.
nanny?
Look at that. There's
Yes, that's the
somebody
nanny.
there. Yeah.
That's the nanny.
Hi. Hi, how are you?
Wow. It's again, we're recording a podcast, Clay. Did you forget again? Yeah, okay. I think that's a good ending note right
That's
there.
an ender.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, let's just to recap. By the time you hear this, if you're not going to Beaver's Bend, it's too late. We'll already be there. And then White River in July.
Well,
Right?
actually, if you set the schedule right, you can set it to drop at 6 a.m., which is the time that our guides are picking us up in the morning.
No, it'll drop. It'll be available by the time the guides are picking us up.
Well, Greg
Beaver's
and
Bend.
Andy, hey man, on your way to camp, when you're listening to this, we'll be on the water freezing our tight ends off.
Okay. Colorado Bend, April 28th through May 1st for white bass. That's another camping trip. White River in July, late July. I think we might do cabins on that one. I think that's the idea. And Bolivar in October. And we'll be in a house there because as we've chronicled on this podcast before, there's really nowhere to, you certainly don't want to stay in the RV resort where
You don't want to go to the Bolivar.
No, you don't want to do that.
Well, I told
Can
you
I
there's a
give-
new one that may be really nice.
Yeah, well, we
Can I
can
give-
check it out and then go back to the house.
Can I give a shout out about 2 important dates that I have going on in the company?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll be working at the Texas Fly Fishing and Brew Festival in Mesquite at the end of Mesquite,
Mhm.
or in the end of February. And also at the Houston Hunting and Fishing Show, the last Saturday and Sunday of that show. Be working with Dagon, and they have been a big supporter of Cast Your Faith, and we'll have Cast Your Faith stickers with me.
Do
Swing
you
by,
have a
see me.
Wookiee at your house?
There, y'all remember? I'm sitting here thinking of that episode that we were talking about Wookiee suits and Bigfoot.
Oh, yeah, there's something going on in there.
Hey,
Oh.
you two. Hey, Willie.
All right, the wheels have shot off of this.
Yeah,
thing.
they have.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've gone off.
All right.
just like always.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Well, guys,
yeah.
love y'all. I'll talk to you later. Can't wait to see you guys Thursday, 1 o'clock at Kenneth Lawrence.
I don't know if that's really what we need to put on the podcast, but all right. See you guys later.
I'll talk to you guys later. We'll see you next week,
All right.
everybody.
Yeah.